Hello everybody, welcome to Global Cajon. In this chapter we are going to talk about the first steps in getting started with this instrument. Enjoy! For a first date, my suggestion is give it some importance. Wait for a good timing so you have a nice first encounter with the instrument. You will probably spend many hours alone with this friend, so let's have a good start. If from that first encounter you already get some sort of improvement, the motivation will appear very soon. That's good. Take a minute to look at it, how it's made inside, acknowledge there's some time, energy and probably some love spent in the building of the instrument, and even find a name for it, like warriors did with their swords or horses. I remember naming my three first congas after my siblings, Alicia, Javier and Rocío. Somehow that positions yourself in a respectful and loving vibe with your cajon and with yourself. Before even touching the first note in the instrument, there's a lot of work that you can do. And it's the type of work that you have to do sooner or later. This work is basically becoming friends with subdivision. Subdividing is feeling the pulse and establishing a grid that divides the pulse in little pieces of time. This is brain work, no hand work. So put your hands in your pockets and let your brain and its most loyal worker, the tongue, be the stars now. If your brain is not capable of subdividing accurately, your hands, this is brain plus many muscles, will never make it. What I mean when I say that you can practice subdivision anywhere is that any place you hear music, you could start singing and subdividing, because it's really an exercise that you have to do with your brain. And then, when you have it controlled, then take it to your hands. So, when you go shopping, when you hear music anywhere, you can start singing and subdividing in half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, sixteens, triplets, whatever. So, let's see an example of doing it over your own clapping. Ta, 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. It's funny how your ability in this specific skill goes hand to hand with your improvising and expressive potential. Okay, many times you're going to see under the score of each pattern some letters with some circles. Let me explain you what that is. That is a system that I thought for those of you that can't read a score, so you can read the pattern. It's very simple. I'm using the letters A and B instead of R and L because I think that right and left are confusing for those of you that are lefties. So it's better to talk about A for the strong hand and B for the weak hand. So you're going to see A's and B's, that's strong hand and weak hand, and those letters that don't have a circle are just ghost notes, okay? Just plain subdivision without accents. The letters that have a circle, colored circle, that's a bass note, okay? And the letters that have a circle without color, just an empty circle, that's a high note accent. And knowing that, it's very simple to read any pattern, okay? It's time to put your hands on the cajon. The first thing I suggest doing is play the music that suits your mood at the moment and start subdividing on the cajon. Do it one hand at a time without interrupting the pattern. Always one hand after the other. Don't make any accents yet. Just get used to smoothly subdividing. In other words, this is taking the subdivision that your brain is making through your hands into the instrument. Without love and without money, without wings and without you, I'm escaping from the sun. If you get fluent on doing this on any kind of music and intuitively start subdividing as the music is going, that's a great news. That's what we are supposed to do. Work on it hard. We will go from this very basic stage to advanced techniques on chapter 8. Subdividing is really the basic of everything in percussion. So, if you're a beginner, have in mind that spending time tapping your cajon to music that you like, it's a very great activity and it really pays off in the long term. You don't really have to do any specific pattern for this exercise. Just tap on the cajon, but be very accurate to subdivision and go to triplets, to half notes. Change the subdivision, always one hand at a time, and you'll see the difference. Practicing how to subdivide, you don't really need an instrument. You can do that on your legs, on a table. The important thing here is to be very accurate in playing, in this case, for example, 16th note, so 4 notes per beat. No accents. Or if you're practicing triplets, okay? Let's practice that on random music. In this case, let's play some Patak's song. Patak is my band, so some promo here. Let's go. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 16 notes. To midnight, something evil looking in the dark. Okay. Under the moonlight, you hear a song that almost stops your heart. Let's change to triplets. 1, 2, 3, and scream, but parents take the time before you make 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. As Mama looks you right between the eyes, you're paralyzed. This is 16. So we follow the structure of the song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do the same thing, but now on the cajon. The idea is not playing any specific pattern or groove, it's just subdividing 4 beats per pulse, or 3 in the case of triplets. Okay, let's practice over a song. 1, 2. Let's try to go with the structure of the song. 1, 2, and the structure. 1, 2, 3, triplets. And so on. My suggestion is do this anywhere you hear music with your hands on any surface. It doesn't really matter if you know the style or even the time signature the music is in. Just jump in on the grid, on the subdivision, and practice being very accurate. This is very, very important to go later on to more advanced stuff. Okay, the next exercise has the goal of practicing how to subdivide inside the bar. What we are going to do is playing the hi-hat only the downbeats of each bar, and inside the bar we subdivide in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then come back. The most important part is not changing the tempo, okay? So the hi-hat keeps a steady tempo, and inside we change the subdivision. Let's see it. The next exercise is really a transition between an exercise that is purely technical to work on your subdivision and a musical exercise. So it's basically subdividing as we were doing before, but now we play a bass note on the downbeat, which already gives it some musical quality, right? Also, if you feel comfortable with that, you could also start adding a high note accent on 2 and 4, so it starts looking as a pattern, but it's not a specific style yet. It's still a subdivision exercise, but with some musicality in it. Let's take a look. Remember that in a serious musical situation, more than 50% of the duty of a drummer or percussionist is to subdivide accurately and keep tempo. So any time you spend working on these abilities makes you a better musician.
Es una corriente de amor nuevo, dejamos diferencia y problemas, dándonos la mano y dejándonos el alma, consiguiendo un amor y verdadero. Es una corriente de amor nuevo, las cosas ya no son lo que creemos, ya todo es más sencillo y ahora estamos despertando, consiguiendo un amor y verdadero.
In this chapter, we learned that subdividing accurately is crucial for any musician and for any style. The good news is that you don't need anything else but the brain to practice and improve it. So as long as you have your brain with you, there's no excuse and you can improve a lot. Well, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. You can find many other chapters of the Global Cajon method in my YouTube channel. Also in my website or Facebook you can find the index to see all the chapters. See you around. Adios.